Good afternoon and welcome to BU TV News at Noon. I'm Gabrielle Lucevero.
And I'm Kirsten Johnson, leading the news at this hour. Just hours ago, a white supremacist serial killer was put to death in Missouri. 63-year-old Joseph Paul Franklin targeted blacks and Jews in a cross-country killing spree and was convicted of killing 8 people. Franklin was executed today for the killing of Gerald Gordon in a sniper shooting at a St. Louis synagogue. He also admitted to shooting and wounding civil rights leader Vernon Jordan and Hustler magazine publisher Larry Flynt, who was paralyzed from the waist down since the attack in 1978. The FBI is investigating racial allegations involving a Massachusetts high school football team prohibited from playing the rest of the season. A racial slur was spray-painted on the house of one biracial Lunenburg player who alleges fellow teammates are to blame. There are previous allegations of Lunenburg players making racial slurs against rival teams. The school superintendent announced Monday that the remainder of the football season was being forfeited. The judgment is in for one United Methodist clergyman who officiated his son's same-sex marriage. Frank Schaefer was ordered by a jury of fellow pastors to surrender his credentials in 1 month if he cannot adhere to the church's book of discipline. Schaefer said he has no intention of changing his mind on homosexuality, declaring he will perform more same-sex marriages if asked.
New details are emerging in the murder of an Arlington mother and her infant sons. Macomb Jones appears to have posted a plea for help 2 months ago, expressing concern her sons would be growing up without a father. Investigators are awaiting autopsy results to determine the exact cause of death of the 4 family members, but law enforcement officials believe the husband was the aggressor in the apparent murder-suicide.
Oh, it was just shock. You know, we're still looking for information and understanding.
Jones, who was a veteran paramedic, is thought to have slashed the throats of his sons and strangled his wife before taking his own life. According to court records, Jones had a history of drug and alcohol abuse and had attempted suicide at least twice in the past.
Reckless driving charges are discovered in the case of a suspect accused of dragging a woman to her death in Wrentham. The motel manager, Kenchinman Patel, was dragged for 3 miles under Moses Akloke's car after he hit her in the motel parking lot. The suspect's driving record, which is 2 pages long, includes a recent license suspension and speeding violations. Patel and her husband were reportedly struck by Akloke's pickup after motel employees confronted the suspect about an unpaid bill.
He was being chased by one of those individuals who got into the pickup truck and pursued him.
By the time I looked out, I opened the door, he was already in the white pickup truck going down. He was going down the hill. I had no idea she was under the truck.
Akloke, who was released on $3,000 bail after pleading not guilty, is being tracked by a GPS monitoring device. George Zimmerman is free on bail after being arrested on Monday and surrendering his firearms to police. Zimmerman is allegedly accused of pointing a shotgun at his girlfriend and was arrested at her home. The prosecution says Zimmerman tried to choke his girlfriend over a week before his arrest and expressed thoughts of suicide. Zimmerman was acquitted 4 months ago for the death of teenager Trayvon Martin.
We're going back live to Jessica Pratty, who has the story on the land pirates. Jessica?
Boston police are on alert for who they've dubbed land pirates. Now, these individuals are thieves targeting victims in one of Boston's most popular areas, the Boston Common.
The Boston police have estimated a 63% increase in robberies in the last year. The attackers are typically going after smartphones in the evening and early morning.
There are some mornings, though. I'm an early arrival, and sometimes I've even been spooked by my own shadow. So I don't know if I would consider myself feeling safe all the time. I'm always alert to my surroundings, I guess. I'm a little surprised about the cell phone thing, but I've always kept that right by my side. And I've never had anybody try to get it from me or take it or steal it from me. So.
Despite the increase in attacks, some Bostonians don't feel any less safe in the Common.
In terms of robberies, I haven't really heard anything, you know, in terms of anyone getting mugged or anything like that. This is not a scary place at all.
Police are expecting to put more plain-clothed and uniformed officers in the area as the holidays approach. Back to you in the studio.
2 bodies have been recovered after an air ambulance crashed into the ocean near Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The search for the 2 other passengers is ongoing. The Learjet experienced engine failure minutes after taking off. Air traffic controllers gave directions to adjust the course, but the pilot made a last-minute turnaround towards Fort Lauderdale Airport. The plane soon crashed a mile off the coast.
It was flying really low over the water, not paying much attention. I was like, it's really strange for a plane flying so low. And then maybe about 30 minutes later, there's the Coast Guard.
The plane was heading back to Mexico with the pilot, co-pilot, doctor, and nurse of the air ambulance. The Supreme Court is not stopping Texas from implementing a new state abortion law. The law requires doctors to get privileges from a local hospital near the clinic. They provide abortion services. The federal appeals court has reinstated the law that many are calling restrictive. Abortion rights groups say that this new law will force more than a third of abortion centers to stop their services. And abortion talk has spread from Texas to New Mexico, where voters rejected a late-term ban on abortions in Albuquerque. Voters struck down the proposed law to ban abortions after 20 weeks of pregnancy. The abortion proposal has been put on the state ballot before, but this is the first time the proposal has been addressed on a city level. The law would not have exempted rape or incest victims.
This afternoon, President Obama will be observing the upcoming 50th anniversary of JFK's assassination, joined by Bill and Hillary Clinton. This morning, the president is honoring Presidential Medal of Honor winners, including former President Clinton and TV host Oprah Winfrey. Then the president and the Clintons will lay a wreath at John F. Kennedy's gravesite at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. This is the beginning of a number of JFK ceremonies in the nation's capital, including a dinner hosted by the president observing Kennedy's legacy. A number of books are released recently on the life of Kennedy, including one by a historian who stopped by BU's Washington Center. Former BU professor Robert Dallek believes Kennedy's legacy still holds on the American people.
What they attach to Kennedy is a kind of aura of hope, of expectations, of a better day ahead.
Dallek says these commemorations come at a time when people are frustrated with the federal government. Coming up, one way a BU student found to fund her own tuition.
Black Friday is more than a week away, but some shoppers are getting a head start. We'll tell you where when we continue.
You didn't give up on sex? Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. Could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Thanks. You believe this guy?
Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry. Pass the honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Milford residents won't be seeing a new casino in their neighborhood. Last night, 57% of residents turned out to vote on the billion-dollar Foxwoods plan. 65% of voters rejected the proposal to build a casino off Interstate 495.
Everybody who has worked on trying to keep this casino out of Milford, it's better than the World Series.
The casino could have brought in $30 million in annual revenue for the community, but the opponents to the plan were wary of increased traffic and crime and reductions in property values. Milford residents voted to keep the community casino free, but 6 other Massachusetts communities have voted in favor of building casinos. The City Council of Worcester has given approval on the zoning rules for the sites of medical marijuana dispensaries. Officials say they plan for 15% of Worcester's total to be occupied by marijuana centers. Up to 35 centers could be opened in the next year in Massachusetts, with a maximum of 5 sites per county.
A BU student can finish out the year because of her creative idea to raise money for her tuition. BU TV's Kami Wood has the story.
5, 6, 7, 8.
19-year-old Alexis Brianna Felix feared her short time at BU was coming to an end when she realized she couldn't pay for the rest of this year's tuition. But when she decided to turn to crowdfunding to raise money, her future in Boston began to look a lot brighter.
I thought it'd be a really great resource, and I talked about it with my best friend, and I talked about it with my mom, because I had some reservations about doing it, but it ended up being a blessing, like the biggest blessing of the year.
Through a website called GoFundMe, Alexis was able to ask for donations to help her pay for her spring semester. Within 27 hours, she had surpassed her goal of $5,000.
I shared my link on Facebook. I think I personally shared it only twice, and from there it was shared 400 and something times.
Besides excelling academically, Alexis is also the captain of a multicultural dance team called Music. One teammate describes why she donated.
We have similar financial circumstances, and so she's a really dear friend of mine, so I donated some money to her fund, and little by little it started building up, and it was just, she passed her goal, and I was pretty shocked. I was like, whoa, it was amazing. It was something really amazing.
Although students in similar situations often turn to BU's financial aid offices for help, there is only a limited number of resources they can be provided with.
I actually had some issues with BU financial aid. I mean, obviously when I thought I was going to have to leave, I was in the financial aid office all the time. I was brought to tears quite a few times. And I think what was most frustrating for me when dealing with financial aid was that there were actually a couple times when they told me I was out of options.
Alexis later found out on her own about a cooperative house on campus for low-income women, where she would only have to pay a few $100s for rent and food each month.
I wish someone would have told me that existed earlier, because that would have knocked off thousands from my housing bill and from my tuition bill in general.
Boston University's financial assistance offers many types of aid, from loans to scholarships and grants. But when asked to comment, they said they would be unable to participate in an interview. Reporting for BU News Service, I'm Kami Wood.
As of today, Alexis has raised over $9,400. If you'd like to donate, search Alexis Felix at GoFundMe.com.
2 shoppers in Ohio are already camping out in preparation for the post-Thanksgiving sales this year. The campers are set up outside of a Best Buy in Akron waiting for Brown Thursday. The first camper's tent includes all sorts of home comforts like heaters, a microwave, a queen-size bed, and a TV. The camper is part of a group of people who each plan on taking shifts to keep their spot in line.
You're ready to go. A gracious host, Jonas.
Since Jonas will be the first one to enter the store, he plans on buying a TV for his family. Coming up, 3 new superfoods that could boost your health and fight fat.
Up next in sports, a controversial end to a close game for the Patriots against the Carolina Panthers.
Shower at some point.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Of course it's not happening. Armored car. Listen, having money isn't about luck. Make your own coffee, save $1,000 a year. Feed me.
Feed the pig.
Danse, balance la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence. Dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
That's low. That's low.
Look, he's blushing.
Seriously.
Well, it's been an exciting week for sports on Boston University's campus as the NCAA tournaments are in full action for fall sports. But for sports around the city of Boston, it really hasn't been that eventful, Kaylee.
No, it hasn't, other than our New England Patriots. Now, what many saw as the NFL Game of the Year ended with one of the most controversial plays seen all season. During the Patriots game against the Panthers Monday night, officials retracted the interference penalty given at the end of the game. Tom Brady threw the ball to Rob Gronkowski when Panthers linebacker Luke Kuechly held Gronkowski while the ball was in the air. The flag was thrown as soon as safety Robert Lester landed with the ball. Officials met and declared that it was not a foul after all, saying the throw was uncatchable. Brady says the call had nothing to do with the Pats' big loss.
No foul, game overs with the win. And you can see how Tom's furious. If you threw a flag there, how do you just pick it up and say no interference?
The final play ended the game with a Panthers win of 24-20. The Patriots will host the Denver Broncos on Sunday night. Former NFL linebacker Thomas Howard was killed early Monday morning in a high-speed traffic collision near his home in Alameda, California. According to investigators, Howard's BMW 750 sedan was almost unrecognizable. Howard was traveling more than 100 miles per hour when it flew out of control and crashed into a Honda CR-V, killing the other driver. The one-time NFL star who played for the Raiders for 2006 until 2010 had just been released by the Atlanta Falcons last week. Investigators have yet to confirm whether or not Howard was under the influence of drugs or alcohol or both. Bruins goalie Tuukka Rask was busy last night helping his team win and making one of his career-high number of saves. The New York Rangers hosted the Bruins last night, where Rask saved 43 of the 44 shots. He also blocked Rangers' Chris Kreider's penalty shot in the first period. The Bruins' 2-1 victory spoiled the return of Rangers' Rick Nash, who has been off the ice since the beginning of October due to a concussion. The Bruins' next game is tomorrow night against the St. Louis Blues. The Boston Celtics look to close out a 3-game road trip tonight in San Antonio at 8:30 p.m. The C's will take on San Antonio Spurs, who are tied with Indiana for the top record in the NBA. The Celtics fell 109-85 Tuesday night in Houston. The Rockets came out of the gates guns blazing, shooting 16 of 20 from the field in the first quarter. And despite a strong effort from the Boston's bench, the C's couldn't hold off the fiery Rockets. Tonight's contest stands as quite a challenge for Boston as they play for the second time in as many days. After winning the Patriot League championship, the BU women's soccer team is on its way to the second round of the NCAA tournament after its big win on Saturday afternoon. BU TV's Chelsea Glinsman has the story.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The BU women's soccer team used their home field advantage to take down Harvard in the first round of the NCAA tournament on Saturday. Freshman Erica Kaczynski recorded the only goal for the Terriers, and senior goalkeeper Andrea Green made 2 saves to solidify the shutout.
Purse was really fast up top, so
We scouted her, wanted to be ready for her speed, but mostly we just wanted to keep playing the way we've been playing, imprint our style of possession, and moving the ball quickly.
The win advances the Terriers to the third round, where they will face Santa Clara at Virginia Tech later this week. The team's 8 seniors are hoping to lead BU to its first ever third-round NCAA appearance.
And these 8 seniors, have said it a number of times over the last few weeks, have really driven this thing. They're incredibly committed. They share. They're sharing it with the younger players, but they're showing the way by not only words but by actions, and that's why an experienced team can be a dangerous team. That's why a mature team can be a dangerous team in postseason, because they don't want it to end.
I'm really happy to have made it to the second round, but since before the season started, one of my goals for the team was to be the most successful team in the program's history. So it would be huge if we made it to the third round, and really be awesome for the senior class.
Now, if BU wins in their game against Santa Clara, they'll take on either Virginia Tech or West Virginia in the third round of the NCAA tournament. For BU TV, I'm Chelsea Glitzman.
This is the team's 11th NCAA tournament appearance. We send the Terriers the best of luck in their game on Friday. Now, BU sports fans are going to be busy this weekend, Kirsten. In addition to the big soccer game, fans are going to have to head over to Agganis to catch a handful of games where the Boston University men's ice hockey team will they'll play the 15th ranked North Dakota Fighting Sioux.
Well, I'll be sure to go watch. Thanks, Kaylee. A civil lawsuit against former New England Patriots player Aaron Hernandez will not be delayed after a ruling by a Florida judge. Alexander Bradley is suing Hernandez because he says Hernandez shot him in the face last winter. Last week, Hernandez's lawyer asked for the lawsuit to be delayed after Hernandez is tried for murder. The judge denied the request, but the trial date is still not set. There are some new superfoods you might want to add to your health list. Yakima is being dubbed the next superfood because it contains a belly-flattening fiber and reduces wrinkles. Also, having blueberries on a regular basis can ward off diabetes and heart disease. The chia seeds are not just used for chia pets. They can also help cut down belly fat and help your heart. If you take aspirin to lower your risk of heart attack, the time you take it might make the difference. Researchers in the Netherlands found that taking aspirin at night, as opposed to in the morning, might lower the risk of blood clots that can lead to heart attacks. Coming up, find out who People magazine named as sexiest man alive. Also up next, we show you how to decorate your table this Thanksgiving.
Hey.
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
Close enough.
Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Do you like this top? It's so gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You know, you really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Turn here. There. Excuse me.
Same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
It's feeling more like winter than fall these days. It's definitely getting a lot chillier out, and BUTV's Dexter McCoy is here to let us know how cold it will go. Dexter?
Yes, it is November, so you know it's cold out there, Gabby. If you're planning to go into the city today, I'd suggest bundling up. It's a sunny day out with temperatures in the mid to high 30s throughout the state. Boston's seeing a temperature of 36 degrees, which is consistent with the other cities along the coast, including Marshfield, Norwood, and Beverly. As we move to more inward in the state, we can see that Worcester is seeing a whopping 31 degrees, while Springfield has a temperature of 33 degrees today. As we take a look at the radar, there is some cloud coverage that's moving in from the southeast, but as the day continues, that should clear up. And we do have a high pressure system that's sitting right on top of the city that is moving wind through the city, but that too shall dissipate. Now, taking a look at the 7-day forecast. It's going to warm up just a little bit as the week continues, but you can expect showers on Friday and Saturday, so make sure you pick up an umbrella and rain boots if you're going out to the Celtics-Pacers game on Friday. Next week's temperatures will fall again, but we may get a glimpse of sunshine early next week. Gabby, if you enjoy the fireplace, I'd suggest you start chopping away at that wood and get your hot tea ready, because it promises to get colder as the month continues.
Believe it or not, there are already several ski areas in New England open and with snow on the trails. A controversial artist will be staging a light show in Copley Square for Boston's annual First Night celebrations. In January 2007, Peter Brodowski helped place lighted boards around the city to promote a movie. This caused bomb scares and disrupted Boston for hours. Charges against the artist were dropped, and his client, Turner Broadcasting, paid a $2 million settlement.
We're just over a week away from Thanksgiving, and if you've got the cooking under control, don't forget about that table presentation. BUTV 10's Molly Kowick has some tips.
A West Elm workshop showed participants how to create the perfect table display to take any Thanksgiving spread from simply food to a feast for the eyes. There are a few key elements to setting an exceptional table.
I think candles are super important. I think having just like any sort of glow to the table really makes the atmosphere warm and cozy and welcoming.
When decorating, it's necessary to consider the size of the table.
If there is a longer table with 6 people, it is nice to have varying heights, so I think playing with heights and textures is really important.
Don't be afraid to combine themes.
I like a mix. I never like to stick with just rustic, just modern. I like to mix the rustic wood with some modern mercury glass.
In lieu of place cards, try writing personalized messages to each guest on their plate. And no tablescape is finished without the centerpiece.
When you're doing a centerpiece, you want to think about the fact that everyone's going to be viewing it from all directions. So you kind of want to create the structure of the arrangement too, like the shape of it.
Add foliage and berries to give the arrangement texture.
You're just fiddling with it, trying to get everything to look the way you want.
Lastly, choose an attention-grabbing flower.
And with these, you want to really cut them on an angle because then they'll soak up more water and last longer.
Place that focal flower in the perfect spot to complete the center masterpiece. Putting those extra special touches into those centerpieces and table displays is the perfect way to show your guests just how thankful you are for them this holiday season. In Boston, I'm Molly Kowick.
If you're sad about missing this workshop, not to worry. On December 14th, Chrissy and Lauren will be hosting a snow globe decorating event at the West Elm.
The results are in. People magazine has named Maroon 5's lead singer Adam Levine this year's sexiest man alive. In an interview with People magazine, Levine says he was amazed and stunned by the honor. Levine joins the ranks of Bradley Cooper, Brad Pitt, and Channing Tatum. But sorry ladies, NBC's The Voice coach is off the market. He proposed to Victoria's Secret model Bahati Prinsloo earlier this year. Well, Adam Levine may be the sexiest man alive, but let's not forget about BU's very own Adam Jakubiak. He takes the title as BU's sexiest TA, for sure.
The one and only.
And that's it for BU TV News at noon. I'm Gabby Lucevero.
And I'm Kirsten Johnson. Thanks for watching, and this Friday, check in with BUNewsService.com for JFK events in Boston, Dallas, and Washington, D.C.